Imagine being born with so many powers that you can rule people. However, with greater power comes great threats. Because of these powers, even the ones you trust become your enemies, and they try to take your love by releasing a dangerous sword behind you. Something similar happens to him. Noah, the little baby, has just been born. At that moment, he wonders where he is and what is going on. But realization hits him, and he grasps that he has been reincarnated. Confused, he looks at his profile, which shows that he is on level 1 with no name. Alternatively, an emperor leans closer to the baby, telling his wife that his eyebrows look exactly like hers. The queen thanks the king. Right now, the baby is still confused, not understanding who this old man is. Just then, the priest named Cruz asks the name this baby will get. Very proudly, the king picks up his son and announces that his name will be Noah Ararat, and he will be holding the title of the 13th Imperial Prince. Abruptly, the baby notices his name and title being changed on the stats window. Curious, the king wonders about the affinity of his son. Having said that, a priest steps forward. Upon observing, he reveals that Noah has an affinity for water. In addition to that, the priests use magic and get to know that Noah's skill is S rank from the very beginning. That being said, Noah's father becomes very happy. He is too sure that his son will make his name famous in the future. Just like that, Noah's life begins. Till now, Noah has spent a full 6 years in this place. The weather at this place is very good. Even Noah's ranks have increased quite a lot. When Noah gets himself out of bed every morning, he is dressed by the maids. As he is now 6 years old, he is used to being seen naked, and it is no longer a point of stress. Now Noah's birthday has arrived as well. Thus he is visited by Crown Prince Albert and 4th Prince Henry, who test him with the cursed water sword Leviathan. They present the sword as a gift, as it comes in a giant box. At first glance, Noah is shocked, as he wasn't expecting something big like this. Upon opening the box, he finds a sword in it, though something very disturbing happens at that moment. From the sword, a creepy aura is coming, which sends chills down Noah's spine. Witnessing this, Noah is taken aback. However, his older brother insisted on taking the sword in his hand. Hesitant, Noah doesn't reach for the sword immediately. But not having a choice, he holds it. As soon as he touches it, Henry reveals that this sword has taken at least 20 lives because they were not worthy of becoming its master. Since Noah is a water magician, he definitely needs this sword, as an SS ranker can tackle it. Noah is furious that his brothers risked his life just for a test. He cannot oppose the Crown Prince. Without hesitation, the mean brothers leave with a fake apology for wasting Noah's time. The same night, Noah's maid Zoe, who is bathing him, seems off. Seeing her tense, Noah demands to know the reason. At first, Zoe doesn't disclose it. Desperate, Noah keeps insisting. She admits that she wants to quit the job, as her family was destroyed in the flood when spring came, and her mother lives alone, so her only option is to go to the red light district. It was unbearable for Noah to listen to all this, so he stands up, telling Zoe that her mother can work in this mansion and will be given at least 10 reins for a month by him. That being said, overwhelmed, Zoe bows down in front of him, showing her gratitude towards him. Just then, Noah runs into his butler named Dylan and asks him if he has any idea about the flood that happened this spring. Dylan was aware of it. Thus, the 13th Prince orders his butler to buy as much of the property there as he can. The butler is astounded, as this is Noah's first flood, but his plan is amazing. However, he is worried that they won't have enough money. Still, Noah assures him that he'll handle everything. With a warm smile, Dylan proceeds to do his job. Now that Noah recalls, Dylan is also from that place. After a few days, Noah's father summoned him. Turns out that he knows that his son bought an entire village. This was shocking because Noah didn't announce anything yet. So how is his father aware of this? Although the king assures him that he isn't called for a reprimanding but the opposite. After which, the next day, preparations for everything are done here. A lot of food is being carried in the carriage. At that moment, Albert meets Noah and states that he wants to talk to him privately. He mentions that the sword given to him has very excellent power within it. Even so, he has to be careful. If that sword does not choose Noah as its master, it is possible that he might lose his life. Therefore, Noah assures him that he will be careful. After completing their journey, they arrive at the flooded area. Noah looks at the area and decides to work according to the plan they decided initially. At the same time, Zoe, the maid, is overwhelmed by seeing this place. Upon investigation, they get to know that the crops here have been completely destroyed. There is nothing left to eat. In that instant, the team starts distributing the food queue-wise. When Noah tastes it, the food is so bland that it is as if it were only boiled water. Although an old man behind is grateful for this as well. No matter what the situation is, Noah is still disappointed that the Empire is distributing such food. This is when the local government officer, Lord Gerald, arrives and after inspection, comments that the food looks alright while he holds his nose shut to avoid the smell. Simultaneously, his men inform him that his portion is at the mansion. Noah couldn't control himself and confronted the local government officer, demanding to know if he hired these men for kickbacks. Geralt isn't ashamed of anything and brags that they all should be grateful that in the situation they are having something to eat at least. Having said that, Noah reminds them that getting rich off of rations intended for disaster victims is a crime. Upon hearing it, the officer gets angry since he wasn't expecting a 6-year-old to talk back like that. Enraged and humiliated, he pulls out a sword, threatening to take the life of the 13th Prince. Little does this thug know that Noah is not just a kid, but someone with an extremely strong sword. Summoning the sword, Noah's sword asks for confirmation if he is ready to take the powers. Once the 13th Prince confirms it, a weird type of energy envelopes him. But this is an evil sword, so at first it tries to stab Noah on its own. The moment Noah catches and looks at it directly with his eyes, the sword gives up and accepts Noah as its master. And in one go, Noah severs that guy's head. Its intensity is so great that a huge hole is created in the ground. Just then, the officer's men tried to surge forward to kill Noah. Abruptly, a soldier noticed all this and intervened. The soldier announced that this was the 13th Prince and warned everyone to be careful, as any mistake that harmed him would have serious consequences. This makes Noah realize that the soldier knows him. Kneeling in front of him, the soldier reveals that he was his brother's servant earlier. With that, Noah explains to the man that he wants to buy this place, as it has no proper infrastructure now and the situation is so worsened that it will require a lot of skills to improve it. He even mentions that he killed the officer because he was insulting the food and the workers here. The soldier assures him not to worry, promising that they will handle everything. All the people here are very happy because now they are going to get good food and a place to live. Witnessing this, Noah's servants are very delighted. But in another environment, Noah's brother is way too furious. After getting back, Noah's father calls him once again, acknowledging that he sold the land and bought an entire village. To Noah's surprise, his father thanks him, as he prevented the emergence of anyone trying to take advantage of the flood. If this natural disaster had followed a man-made disaster, then it would have been a complete mess. The father even mentions Noah's new achievement of making the sword his slave. It has been some time, so the king wanted to see his abilities again. With the help of the priest, they get to know that water is now says with no plus sign. Knowing this, the king states that he would like Noah to aid him with his talents. This makes him very happy. King, the capital of the Mirror's Empire, is the center of the nation's government, the heart of its culture, and its financial center. At some point, the people began to call it the most prosperous city in the world. Our guy has just arrived at this place. The eunuchs were saying there is a popular singer here. Zoe is accompanying Noah, as he gives her more work to thank her for her help with her home village. Now at the auditorium, the singer named Alice was singing really well. Noah notes that Alice's technique has room for improvement, but he can tell that she sings earnestly and takes it seriously. In that instant, one of the thugs from the audience stepped onto the stage with anger, even when the security guard tried to stop him. The thug with his 2 small fries reminds Alice that she won't be able to pay her daddy's debt this way. Confused and scared, the helpless girl clarifies that she has nothing else to give. Scoffing, the thug grabs her by her shirt and implies there are countless ways she could make money simply because she's a woman. This inappropriate behavior is intolerable to Noah. Thus, he intervenes and walks up to the stage. He explains Imperial Law 67, Article 2, which states that it is illegal to make children assume their parents' debts. Making Alice pay for her father's debt and ordering her to sell her body to do it is a crime. Enraged, the thug grabs Noah by his collar and lifts him up in the air, warning him not to mess with him. Without warning, Noah summons his sword and pushes the thug to the ground. The aura coming from the sword is so scary that all 3 men run away. After that, everyone gets to know that Noah is a prince. Their eyes widened with astonishment. Ignoring their reactions, Noah faces Alice and praises her singing. With that, he asks about her living expenses per month. Hesitant, the singer reveals that she has her mother's treatment to pay for as well, so it requires a lot of money. Noah announced she would give her 25 rank per month. In return, she has to focus on her singing. Alice is overwhelmed, expressing her gratitude towards the prince. Upon returning home, Noah notices those thugs from earlier kneeling down in front of his castle gate. Apparently, they want to apologize for their earlier behavior. However, Noah orders Zoe to tell these goons to leave, as he has no time for these jerks. In that instant, Henry Ararat, the 4th prince, arrives, complimenting his younger brother for handling the situation this way, since granting an audience to men like them without a second thought would devalue the standing of royalty and Noah's princedom. Noah agrees with his brother, but admits that he also has another reason. Later on, he explains the whole situation to his brother in a giant hall. Henry is a little surprised to hear that Noah wants to aid a singer, though Noah felt that letting those goons think he was still angry would stop them from bothering the girl any further. Chuckling, Henry wonders aloud if the girl's singing was that good. In addition to that, he is quite impressed that Noah could think that far ahead at his age. Frank and Gary are closer to his age. They don't think that way. Henry can't help but admit that they are all children, and despite all the teaching Gary and Frank have received, they still haven't learned their manners. Both those kids are Noah's brothers. They have different mothers. Yet since Henry and Gary have the same mother, Noah supposes they have a different sort of connection. Changing the subject, Henry remarks that Noah has managed to master his sword. He asks whether it's too big for him and wonders how he even carries it. Abruptly, Noah summons his sword, leaving his brother stunned. The prince explains that his weapon was hidden on his sleeves, then demonstrates by reducing its size to make it handy. Letting out a heavy sigh, Henry calls it unprecedented, adding that that thing was isolated as a national treasure for 2 centuries, and even the records from before then mention nothing of the sort. At this point, Henry is truly amazed by his brother's abilities. Later that night, all the goons are still waiting for the prince at the gate. Henry and Noah approach these goons. At first, the leader of the thugs gets angry as he can't take it anymore, but the moment strong power strikes his body, the whole group continues kneeling down in front of the gate. Seeing the horror in their eyes, Henry understood that his brother had done something that was making these thugs go insane. Innocently, Noah confesses that he unleashed just a tiny bit of power from his sword to threaten them. After a while, Noah is welcomed by Raydock to a party where all the people cheer for him, happy to see a young and respectful prince. Curious, Raydock asks what's on his waist. Without hesitation, Noah reveals that it is a gift from the crown prince, called Leviathan. Having said that, the whole crowd is taken aback since this is a national treasure. Among the crowd, one of the men comments that it must be just a replica. The evil sword felt insulted, so it unleashed its power, sending intense pressure waves to toy with these people. However, Noah orders it to halt, acknowledging that it felt humiliated, but it was too much. While everyone is immensely amazed by Leviathan's power, the man who commented is on the floor, still trembling with fear. Afterwards, Noah sits on a throne. On the other hand, all the guests come to meet him one by one. A man named Byron Allen, head of the Allen Company, greets the prince. He has his daughter, Cindy Allen, with him. Instantly, Noah guesses that the girl is adopted and that he is the 2nd or 3rd generation. In addition to that, Byron's bearing is that of one who was born into a high rank. His daughter lacks that. What's more, he took in a former slave as his daughter. All the information is totally accurate, which leaves Byron utterly stunned. The funny thing is, Noah figured it out by the look she gave him. Kneeling in front of the prince, Byron admits to all of it and mentions that his adopted daughter is a very fast learner. Being impressed, Noah invites him to his castle to hear everything in detail. Just like that, the man walks off with his daughter while all the people give him envious looks, as he was the first one to be acknowledged by the prince. As they walk away, Noah tells Raydock that he already knew Byron's daughter was adopted because she had been protecting Byron ever since the first time Noah used his sword as a threat. A girl her age would normally protect herself. The next day, Noah is wandering around the area and runs into Oscar Ararat, the 8th prince. He is shocked to see his brother taking a stroll without a carriage. Oscar offers Noah to join him on a treasure hunt if he is free. Moments later, they arrive at Cobalt Street. Here, finding the real treasure among so many antiques is something any noble should be able to do. They look around for some time but don't find anything useful. Though Noah's gaze darts at a book, so he ends up buying it as it made him curious. Looking at it closely, Oscar's jaw drops. It is the Grimoire of Andrea, the legendary sorcerer. Depending on what is in it, someone could get 1,000 rins for it. The 8th prince finds it unreal, not understanding how Noah knew this was important. In reality, Noah knew nothing, yet the moment he touched it, a plus was added to his win stat. In an instant, Noah touches his sword to the book, and a vast power suddenly envelops them. The book falls open, and the forbidden tome with the sorcerer's soul sealed inside emerges. Witnessing this, Oscar instructs his brother to run, as that is the vengeful spirit of the great sorcerer who mastered wind. Instead of running, Noah wields his sword and destroys the spirit within seconds. Catching sight of this scene, everyone is shocked. Meanwhile, a man who runs an antique shop requests them to see an article after seeing the prince's remarkable feat. The man brings them to his shop, where he shows them a ring. This ring is famous for showing its true form when its true owner appears. The poor vendor has shown it to many people. Until now, it never worked. He even tried to get rid of it, yet it always comes back. Unsure, Noah wears the ring, and in the blink of an eye, the article identifies him as its true owner. It turns out that the ring's true form is armor. This ring doesn't change his stats, but it is very useful, so he decides to take it. On his way back, the thug from earlier comes out of nowhere to attack him. Still, the ring reacted to his hostility with automatic defense and dodged the attack. That evening, Zoe and Noah visit Alicia again. Unfortunately, some jerks try to flirt with her, but he steps in using his new article to scare them off. By now, Noah has decided to purchase the owner's business for 1,000 rians so that these situations can be avoided in the future. The owner of the place is insanely rejoiced with all of this. On the flip side, Aleche doesn't know how to repay the prince. Hence, Noah tells her that if she keeps singing, that will be enough for him. While getting ready by the maids, one of the household staff informs Noah that he has a guest. Dead Marley, the Governor General of Holjoy, an up-and-comer from his fief. The royal family has a custom of granting fiefs to princes so they can learn about government affairs. For that reason, the people of each fief revere the prince serving as their lord as if he were a monarch. This man, who was born in Almaria but now works in a land called Holjoy, is no exception. As they both greet, he recalls Dead was given an imperial order to manage flood control in Holjoy. Holjoy is a fertile grain-producing region in the bend of a large river. It suffers from flooding on occasion. The emperor appointed Marley of Almaria, the home of the Water clan, to govern it in hopes that he could stabilize it. Though right now things aren't going well since they haven't received funding and they can't use money they don't have. It was an imperial order to have funding, but the home ministry keeps coming with excuses. Upon hearing it, Noah and Dead meet the Minister of Finance, Maverick. He demands to know the reason why Maverick is delaying the distribution of Marley's funds. While enjoying his food, the Minister of Finance assures him that there is an actual reason behind it. He explains that Holjoy suffered flood damage yet again last year. Their kind emperor's heart hurt so badly for them that he granted them a whole year of tax exemption. With that, he claims that Dead has leftover tax money. Having said that, Noah wants to know if Maverick is belittling him. Panicked, the Minister of Finance admits that he cannot send them money at the moment. He explains that they have to build the emperor's summer retreat. As the emperor isn't young anymore, he should be spending his summer in a land that is a bit cooler. That requires a vast amount of money. That being said, Noah orders him to shut up, declaring that Maverick is committing a grave crime against the royal family by stating that he can't hand over money just so that a villa can be created for the emperor. When Noah threatens to go and appeal to his father personally, Maverick kneels down on the ground and begs for forgiveness. With that, he promises to supply Holjoy with funding right away. Observing his skills to negotiate really impresses Dead, and he will forever be grateful that he helped them with this issue. The next morning, Noah greets his father, bowing down in respect. The emperor is proud of his son for handling yesterday's situation gracefully. Noah is taken aback, not understanding how his father knows. Though Noah doesn't think what he did was something great, it was basic human decency. According to the emperor, what comes naturally doesn't come easily. There are many slick tongues out there who know how to use flattery. Not many people can do the right thing with natural ease. Patting his head, the emperor asks his son to stand up, noticing his Leviathan, which looks pretty small. The idea that Noah has fully mastered that magic sword, considering its dark history, is something truly remarkable. The emperor believes that it would serve Noah well to learn the technique to wield it. Hence, he has summoned an instructor of swordsmanship. The kingdom's greatest swordsman, Damien Noble, is at Noah's service now. To observe Noah's aptitude, Damien wants to start the training right away. When the emperor allows it instantly, Noah realizes that his father really trusts the man. Taking an attacking stance, the swordsman tells Noah to come at him whenever he is ready. With trembling hands, he charges forward and strikes at Damien, who dodges the attack with his sword. While wielding Leviathan, the memories of its past owners flow into Noah's mind. Keeping all of it in mind, the sparring continues, and within a few minutes he is able to throw away the sword of the greatest swordsman of the empire to the side with the help of his treasure, Leviathan. Damien faces the emperor and apologizes to him. Moreover, he explains that he has nothing to teach the prince. As his strength and speed are indeed those of a child, he used technique alone to disarm his opponent. Noah already possesses the swordsmanship of a master. It would be presumptuous of Damien to try and teach him. Having said that, the emperor can't help but laugh as his son is really something at the age of 6. He declares to make Noah head in this year's night selection exam. Noah agrees to see this task through. The night selection exam is an annual event involving participants from all corners of the empire. For this empire, a nation of warriors that treasure its military, it is said that the way of the warrior is the only oath to success by merit. In the exam, the fighters who win their regional preliminaries meet in the capital for their final battles. The one who emerges victorious earns the title of knight and immediately joins the upper ranks of society. The first job of the new knight is to become a subordinate of the head judge. With a talented knight in his service, he could become even stronger. The emperor wants to know from Damien how Noah judges this event. The greatest swordsman explains that he should do it either round robin or elimination. That is the first thing that the head judge must decide. In that instant, Noah states a request. He wants to do away with the regional preliminaries and do all the judging here in the capital, before his own eyes. The empire is vast, and he can't observe all the preliminaries in every region. He wouldn't want any strong candidates to be excluded for arbitrary reasons, as he doesn't want to overlook any talents. Later on, Noah asks Zoe if there are any night selection exam participants in her village. She informs him that there is one who is their simple village's lone gateway to glory, and the only one their village sends to the exam every year. That being said, Noah explains that he did away with this year's preliminaries so they can send more if they like. Conversely, Zoe reveals that the reason they send one challenger is that they can't afford the travel and lodging expenses. Therefore, it takes donations from all of them just to send one. That wasn't a big issue for him as he announced he would cover all the expenses. Additionally, he asks Dylan to find out the number of vacant houses in the capital, introducing him to buying them all. If not, they will build dormitories of sorts, since people will be coming to stay. Simultaneously, Dylan has to talk to all the merchants they have connections with for meals. Sometime later, Noah leaves to meet the merchant. Upon reaching the location, Byron showed Noah the estimate of the food, which is very low. Noah realizes that these merchants definitely want something from him. The way he judges the situation correctly leaves the merchants stunned. The merchant informs without hesitation that there is a palace employment exam run on roughly the same scale as the knight selection exam. Thus, he was hoping Noah would know what sorts of people are hired. Noah grasps that the merchant wants to put a girl in the palace. If he has the support of someone in the palace, and if she were to be ordered to spend her nights with the emperor as a consort, the profits will be immeasurable. Noah promises to help if the girl is good. In the carriage, Noah is happy, as accepting Byron as a subordinate increased our boy's stats. However, his eyes widen with shock when he spots one of his stats going down. Panic slashes across his face. Something definitely happened in Almaria. Instantly, he instructs Zoe to ask the driver to head to the casket quickly. Without wasting any time, Noah arranges a meeting with the emperor, explaining to him about the change in Almaria. The emperor is cool about it, as if he knows something, though he claims that he merely noticed any signs. Right then, one of the emperor's men comes and informs us that there has been a rebellion in Almaria, which means his guess was right. Considering Noah's SS just dropped to S, it might look like it dropped by half, but the reality is that it only went down by one rank out of several. He believes that whatever happened is small in scale at the moment. His guesses were true, as the reports identified 5,000 rebels. Their numbers are low, and it is in his fief. Still, Noah thinks that he cannot put himself down, as he is young and unfamiliar with combat. He isn't sure if the soldiers would listen to him, thus he thinks his older brother should be the one who controls this situation. Upon hearing it, the emperor is impressed and admits to standing by Naya's judgment and choosing someone else. Without even giving seconds thoughts, Noah takes Henry's name. With such low numbers, the orthodox approach is to suppress them head-on. Just like that, both Noah, Henry, and the team are on their way to stop the chaos. On the way, Noah's eyes widen with shock as the Leviathan senses something. It turns out that the Almarian rebels have blocked their way. Getting out of the carriage, Noah uses his sword, and with multiple strikes he knocks the rebels out. Henry is impressed by the strikes, mentioning that the rebel army was centered around cavalrymen, but he guesses they have some of the guys like these too, though he didn't kill the opponents. After cutting them, he used Leviathan's threat to knock them unconscious. People like these are too likely to kill themselves. The next day, Noah meets Byron and reveals to him that there is a rebellion in Almaria. He threatens to kill the merchants if the word goes out. He had to tell these guys, as he happens to do business in the area surrounding Almaria. Noah elaborates that he has been told that cavalrymen are the center of their forces. He gives Byron 10,000 rens and orders him to buy all the horse feed in the fief immediately. Byron suggests securing standard rations, yet Noah explains that they don't need it. War horses are not raised in Almaria. According to Henry, the rebels' horses were purchased elsewhere. There were only so many horse fees they could steal from citizens. The plan is pretty obvious. If Noah takes the soldiers' rations, they'd start looting. The emperor informs Noah that the rebels provided incomplete information. They claim that assassins were trying to kidnap Noah to negotiate. Noah believes that the rebels gave up too easily, and they are definitely lying. The emperor is impressed. He finds Noah very clever, though he suggests Noah not get worried as there is a way to find out who is yelling the truth. To catch a thief, they need a thief. It was true that Noah didn't know much about torture, so he would just take their woes for it. The king praises Noah, but warns him that if he gets captured, the kingdom might have to make a difficult decision. He even mentions that targeting the horses was an excellent plan. Upon hearing it, Noah is taken aback. How does this man get to know every recent decision Noah makes? The emperor ignores his shocking reaction and explains that starving enemies is a common strategy, and Albert suggested using this tactic with the rebels as well. However, soon enough, Noah realized that this could cause those rebels to attack civilians, so he chose to starve their horses only. This was a smart and thoughtful move. Luopio loved the thought process of this young boy, though he knows that carrying this plan out is not that easy. In that instant, the king announces the reward for Noah and grants permission to add a sword to Noah's crest. Noah is taken aback. He wasn't expecting this. This is a warrior nation, and adding a sword to one symbol without the emperor's permission is a grave crime punishable by death. Receiving permission from the emperor is one of the greatest honors possible. King instructed crews to issue the proclamation, making Noah feel as grateful as ever. After that, Noah heads back toward his place. On the way to his place, Byron meets the prince and explains that there are only so many types of feed designed to be transported. They know which routes will be used, thus buying them will not be hard at all. Also regarding Karfan, the leader of the rebels, he is extremely tenacious and will do whatever it takes to achieve his goal. The merchant is certain it is nothing Noah needs to worry about, but he warns him to be very cautious. Noah questions him why he is telling him all this. At the same time, Evelyn interrupts hesitantly and informs Noah that there is a wounded man at the main door, who says he has an urgent report. At the main door, the man is very honored to meet Noah and introduces himself as a decurion serving in the Adora province of Almaria. Badly injured, he reveals that a rebellion has begun in Almaria, and his superiors started an uprising, but he couldn't go along with it, so he fled to report the prince. Unfortunately, Noah knew about this already. Still, he thanks the guy for reporting and instructs Evelyn to cure his wounds. While leaving, Noah announces to give the man a reward of 1,000 Rian. Byron was taken aback. He didn't expect Noah to reward the guy since the information wasn't helpful at all. Even though the information isn't helpful, still the man risked his life to report them with the information. In the palace, extremely tired, Zoe knocks on Noah's door. When the prince lets her in, and in that moment she collapses from tiredness, Noah is worried. What happened to her suddenly? He notices a small bag of money containing about 500 rimmers. The maid explains that a stranger gave it to her as a reward for giving Noah a sleeping drug. She was to mix that into the prince's drink, then hand him over to those people once he fell asleep. Noah realizes that they are the same rebels again and who really wanted to kidnap him, though he doesn't understand why his maid brought it to him. Zoe is loyal. She could never do this to the person who helped her mother and her village. Scared, the poor girl starts crying as she is threatened that she will be killed if she doesn't do the task. Noah understands the situation and gives a reward to Zoe. Those rebels tried to buy her betrayal for 500 real, but she didn't do it, so Noah added a 0 to that. The reward was 5,000 real, which was a lot. She cannot accept it. Noah insists, and Zoe starts crying, thanking him, realizing that he is an actual generous master. With that, Noah gives her a task. Carefully examining the bottle, he announces that he will take this drug. When he passes out, she should take him to them. Once they take him, she should immediately run away and hide, because if she stays, they will try to kill her. Zoe is stunned. She doesn't like this plan at all. Moments later, Noah was kidnapped. After a while, Noah becomes conscious. His hands and feet are tied. He sharpens his senses and comes to the conclusion that hiding his weapon was the right choice, as his enemies would have taken it. The rebels are scared, knowing this is a huge danger, and one stab with that creepy dagger and it'd be all over. Noah is confused. What dagger are they talking about? They recall Karfan's orders, being very well aware that they can't go wrong with this. However, they didn't even remove his ring. Therefore, using his ring's powers, he cuts the ropes and frees himself. His eyes have adjusted. Initially, he thought he was in a room, yet this was the back of a wagon. Pretending to be unconscious, he asks Leviathan to show him its memories. The sword shows him what happened. Noah drank the tea and passed out. The rebels kidnap him, tying his hands and feet. Not concerned about Zoe as they flee, Zoe obviously followed the prince's order and escaped. Without hesitation, the rebels put Noah into a caravan and take him away. After knowing everything, Noah steps out and confronts these men. These men are such jerks that they make fun of him, recalling that his elder brother saved him earlier, believing that a child cannot do anything on his own. Annoyed, Noah kills one of them in a single slash. They do not know that his brother never intervened. Noah did everything himself. Scared, the remaining rebels attack together. Noah uses his sword skills, killing them one by one. They cannot even touch him, let alone injure him. Soon all the rebels are knocked out. Zoe arrives with soldiers because she did not want Noah to die. Seeing him safe, she is satisfied. Zoe apologizes for not escaping as she was concerned about her prince. Even though the maid came to save Noah, Noah still handled the rebellions on his own, leaving everyone shocked. At that moment, Noah asks for the captain, who is honored to meet the 13th Prince. He instructs the captain to take care of this, as they are the ones who attacked him a few days ago. As they are being taken away, a demonic sword falls out of one of the rebels' robes. The captain is about to touch it, and Noah screams, telling him to step back immediately. Dark energy emits out of the sword. Noah realizes this might be the dagger the rebels mentioned in the wagon. Additionally, through Leviathan, he can sense a curse on it as well. It might be sorcery filled with the hatred of the one who cursed it. Noah asks Leviathan if it can handle this. The sword answers with strong power, releasing a frightening energy that cuts through the clouds and heads straight toward its target. Karfan senses the danger coming his way, but it is too late. Leviathan's attack kills him right away. A few days later, Noah meets the Emperor, who compliments him for killing the rebel leader through the brow with a pillar of water that appeared out of nowhere. The king is sure that it was Noah's doing. As always, word travels fast, and he remembers that he uses the hatred in the dagger to guide Leviathan to the rebel leader with a long-distance sniping shot. After that, the Almarian rebels, having lost their leader, were quickly suppressed by the fourth Prince Henry. In the large hall, an official reports that nearly all those involved in plotting the uprising have been arrested, and the king's judgment is requested in deciding their punishment. The king orders that every last one of them be drawn and quartered. They will pay at once for the crime of launching a rebellion in Noah's fief. The people are satisfied with this ruthless judgment. Still, Noah steps forward and requests that the emperor to not give this punishment. Everyone is taken aback. However, Noah explains that punishment should be according to the law. According to imperial law, the rebel leader should be split in two. Third-grade supporters should be hanged, and the rest should be beheaded. Even if drawn and quartered is simply idiomatic, no such punishment exists in the laws of this empire. The emperor is enraged as the rebels destroy his son's name. But if the emperor breaks the law, it can throw Gus's supremacy into disarray. The emperor agrees, as Noah did well to catch him in his mistake. Everyone now sees Noah not as a child, but as a responsible prince. The king announces that he still wants full punishment based on law, with no leniency. The first prime minister, Noah's Hill, heard all of it, and he will handle the rest. The whole panel praised Noah for pointing out such a big thing. They believe his genius is truly a gift from the heavens. Even the emperor is amazed as his son stopped him from sullying this empire's good name in history. Thus, he announces to grant Noah the title of wise. Any of his children may be capable of simply admonishing him, but still, to do so rightly is a valuable talent. To make his cleverness known to all king's subjects, the king granted Noah the title of wise. Noah's rank shifts from 13th Prince to Wise Prince, a thing that never happened before. The emperor believes that if only he had been born a bit earlier, things would have been much better. The whole crowd cheers for the Wise Prince. Just then, the emperor informs Noah that the knight selection exam is soon. He wants to know how the prince plans to judge the upcoming knight selection exam. Noah assures his father that he has a plan, and he will show that later. Noah makes the servant pour water on him, but his ring dodges it completely. Noah explains that he will judge participants based on how close their attacks get to him. This reduces the burden on Noah and eases the judgment process. But it is not without risk, as there might be a contender powerful enough to break through his defense. Still, Noah is ready. That evening, the first prime minister was talking to the emperor. Noah's Hill thinks that the king became way too touchy. However, the emperor is okay with it, as Noah not only admonishes him but also kills the enemy leader without battle and wields a terrifying magical sword. He orders crews to bring out a gift. The legends say that the true seal on Leviathan must not be broken, yet perhaps if Noah were to do it, he would need this gift. Today is the knight selection exam, where many people have come to clear this exam. The official name of the nation everyone called the empire is the Mir'Yun's Empire. Mir is an ancient word meaning warrior. Indeed, in the Mir'Yun's Empire, a nation of warriors, military might is the one and only path to merit-based success, and that success is decided by the knight selection exam. This exam draws the attention of many in the empire, but this year particularly sees a prince personally serving the head judge, which is happening for the first time in history. People have gathered at the venue in droves for a chance to see him. On the stage, Noah is enjoying his tea while reading a book. Just then, a strong-looking man comes forward to face him. As soon as he draws his sword, Noah's shield appears and blocks the attacks. It is so strong that it literally breaks the sword in half. The whole crowd is surprised. No matter how much they try, they can't even lay a finger on the prince. Unfazed, Noah finishes his tea, so Zoe brings 2 more cups for him. At the same time, the emperor and Cruz are also watching this exam. Cruz believes that this year's exam is far more exciting than the exams of the past years. However, the emperor is more concerned about the outcome. He wants Noah to select capable warriors. Thus, he is looking forward to seeing what kind of people the wise prince delivers. Right then, another examinee steps on the stage. This man gathers all his fiery powers and directly aims at the prince. The impact is so powerful that the whole crowd assumes that Noah might be too injured. When the smoke settles, Noah is literally enjoying his tea inside a barrier, and despite such a dangerous attack, he remains unscathed. The man used so much of his energy that he collapsed to his knees, being all exhausted. Disappointed, Noah notices that the sun will set soon, and supposes there are no particularly noteworthy candidates today. Now there is going to be the last test of the day. Nervous, an armored girl steps forward. After letting out a heavy sigh, she draws out her sword. The moment she does this, her expression changes. Shocking Noah, he could see that this girl is strong. Instantly the girl attacks Noah. Still, Noah's shield blocks her attack. However, the attack is so immense that the sword penetrates his shield. Motivated, she gathered all the energy in her body and finally broke it. In the heat of that moment, the girl's sword pierces through Noah's arm. Guilt spread across the girl's face. She never meant to harm the prince. The soldiers quickly grab the girl. Still, Noah orders the men to leave and demands to know her name. Ashamed of her actions, she reveals that she is Shirley Grants. To her surprise, Noah announces that she has passed this refinement. Hearing this, Shirley's eyes remain wide open. Noah never names his standards, but she is clearly an instant pass. At that moment, the audiences start murmuring. They can't believe that he is forgiving the woman who wounded him. They find the prince way too generous. Afterwards, Noah is in his palace with Shirley. He is impressed by the fine armor the girl has on her. Shirley explains that it has been passed down in her family for generations. Nervous, Shirley asks if she is really passed, curious about her sentence. Noah clarifies there is no sentence, as she wounded him by mistake. Thus she didn't do anything wrong, as he was the one who told people to attack him. Abruptly, the prince orders Shirley to use that thrust on him again. Shirley is terrified. She doesn't want to do this once again. Though Noah reminds her that if she is going to be his knight, then she has to follow his orders. Nervously, Shirley draws out her sword and prepares herself, then attacks him again. Noah uses artifact, activates, creates a shield and blocks her attack. This time, no matter how hard she tries, she is not able to budge. Noah explains that this is what could have happened if he really wanted to dodge her attack earlier. She didn't wound him by mistake. He adds that a knight's job is to follow orders. The prince wanted to see if she would execute his orders faithfully. He doesn't need a knight who is going to hold back for fear of him. She came at him in earnest twice, even after wounding him. That is why she has what it takes. Shirley is taken aback by such strong resolve from Noah, though she kneels down and vows unshakable loyalty to him for her entire life. Hearing this, Noah finds this exaggerated gesture he saw in plays, and although it is not formally recognized, it clearly shows her intentions. By now his stats have greatly increased, which means that when a person or weapon is added to him, his stats get significantly boosted. At that moment, Zoe arrives with the Emperor's doctor, Godefroy. Noah laughs, finding it a bit too much. However, the doctor treats the prince's wound, being happy that the strike didn't hurt any bones or organs. Witnessing this, Shirley is relieved. She is impressed that a cut could be treated in that way, since they have no doctors in her village. Upon hearing it, Noah is pretty surprised. What do these people do when they are sick or injured? Shirley explains that they have their elders pray for them, or exorcise the root of their illness. Croy smiles, as this is quite normal in poor villages. Noah confirms with Croy if the fastest way to become a doctor is to start as an apprentice, and gives his first order to Shirley. She has to bring the most clever, hard-working people from her village to him. With that, he asks Croy to take a few of them as his apprentices. Watching and hearing all of it, Shirley is astonished. However, the prince clarifies that he will be taking care of all the expenses and requests her to bring people who can examine villagers and work as doctors. Overwhelmed, Shirley bows down, expressing her gratitude. Noah suggests she learned more about the way of a knight, since this is not a way knights bow. The next morning, Shirley has gotten ready to work as Noah's knight. On the way, she meets Zoe, who greets her, concerned if she slept well. Shirley honestly reveals that she didn't, because she was in an unfamiliar room, and she believes that even the servants' quarters of a prince are luxurious. On the other side, the maids are imagining what kind of lady would become their lord's bride. Shirley is shocked, as the prince is only 6 years old. The maids aren't feeling any shame, informing her that the other princes were married before they turned 15. They mention the daughter of Anjou Almaria, assuming that she would look good with Noah. Zoe finds all of it pretty crazy. Just then, a middle-aged maid interrupts, stating that it is how loved the prince is. They have seen all the cafes that have sprung up on the street in front of the house because so many girls gathered there, hoping to catch Noah's eyes. Even Evelyn says all the time that there is no prince anywhere who is kinder than their master. Gigi teases Zoe, announcing that she loves Noah as well. Even though Zoe denies it, Gigi keeps insisting that she is lying, mentioning that Zoe has started studying magic recently, all for the master. The maid clarifies that this is just a misunderstanding, as she just wants to be useful to the prince. With that, she shyly leaves, while the other maids can't help but laugh at her flustered reaction. At Noah's office, a commander arrives, handing Noah the report of the knight selection exam. The commander mentions that because of Noah's screening method, all of this year's new knights are excellent. The knights have expressed their gratitude. Noah instructs the commander to tell them that he is grateful for their help in running it as well. Also, he tells Shirley to escort their guest outside. Outside, Shirley bows and thanks him for coming to meet them. Seeing this respect, the commander is stunned and assures they are both knights, so there is no need for such formality. He even realizes that the prince sent her to escort him as a part of her training. As a senior, the commander gives her a word of advice that if she stays by his side, nothing will go wrong, so she should keep working hard. That evening, a grand party is taking place at the palace. Alicia is on the stage, singing a song, while Cindy Allen expresses her gratitude towards the prince for inviting her. Bion congratulates him on the success of the night selection exam. Very kindly, the prince assures them that there is no need for all of it, suggesting they enjoy the party. He states that all merchants here are closely connected to the 13th Prince. Thus Byron decides to go and cultivate some friendships. At the same time, Alice finishes her song and everyone praises her. All of the applause makes her smile. Seeing this, Noah also smiles. At that moment, Zoe arrives looking worried with a message. She is unsure whether she should forward this or not, but it is for him. Concerned, Noah asks her what is written on the letter. However, to their surprise, the sender's name is not written. Zoe explains that the guard said the person who delivered it ran away and that it could contain secret information, so she brought it just in case. Noah opens the letter while Shirley warns him to stay alert as her sword reacts. Noah calms them and reads the letter, which says that there is troubling movement among the remaining Almarian rebels. Zoe is enraged as these rebels haven't given up yet. Noah comes to a conclusion. Whoever delivered this has gone back to investigate undercover. He knows it was the same injured soldier from earlier who informed him about the rebels. Zoe can't help but explain that the man was great. He found out later that Noah had already learned of the rebellions, so he followed the warning without saying anything. Shirley assumes that maybe the soldier is doing this to repay the debt. However, Noah finds it dangerous because pretending to be a spy without training is dangerous. If he gets caught, he will be killed. His brother Henry must be nearby, hence he decides to send a message asking him to stop this. Later, Noah was disappointed. He got back, and as he expected, the poor guy was exposed and then tortured. He should have just talked, but he refused, so they showed no mercy. Although his brother's unit rescued him, he is still unconscious. Noah blames himself, as he should have realized it sooner. He could have stopped it. Still, Shirley assures him it is not his fault. Noah then orders Zoe to send a message to Almaria and to make sure the man does not die, no matter what he needs. Noah believes sacrificing such a loyal man for information is not right. Sometime later, when they go out to the market, Shirley is amazed by the huge market, but Noah reminds her to not get distracted as she is on duty. Noah is here to buy something for his brother Henry for suppressing the rebels and for his letter. Noah reaches the same shop from where he got his ring artifact. The owner is quite happy, as he received the shipment that Noah will like. Many huge artifacts were presented in front of him, leaving Shirley awestruck. Noah spots a covered statue and asks about it, as it doesn't feel the same as others. The owner explains it was made by the extraordinary artist Lindy. As it is a lost art row, only 2 goddess statues like this exist. Noah plans to buy it and give extra money as a reward. At that moment, the 8th Prince, Oscar Ararat, arrives. He was sure that Noah would find a worthy treasure. Seeing the glass statue, Oscar quickly recognizes that it is Lindsay's art. He reveals that he owns the first one. Having said that, Noah pushes the statue and breaks it, assuring the shop owner that the money is still his. Additionally, he asks them to spread a rumor that the second statue was broken, as this greatly increases the value of Oscar's statue. When Oscar leaves, Noah decides to choose another gift. On the way back, Shirley is still shocked that Noah broke that treasure. Though Noah believes real treasure is people, those who risk their lives to give him information, those who work hard to meet his expectations, and those who swear loyalty to him. He assures her that Shirley is one of them. Shirley never expected that Noah would include her in those people, therefore she vows to stay by his side forever. 6 years have passed. Noah, now much older, walks forward as the maids and butlers bow to him, hoping for his safety. A carriage is waiting for him outside as Zoe and Shirley walk behind him. Noah Ararat, the 12-year-old named the Wise Prince, enjoys his breakfast when he notices one of his servants looking out the window and asks her if there's a problem. Gigi answers that the line of people bringing him gifts still hasn't ended even though it's been 10 days. Noah answers that it's no big deal and it even lasted a week last year. Gigi is shocked, and the Wise Prince adds that he can't just relieve the presents and be done with it. The received items and the sender need to be recorded in detail, so it's a time-consuming task, but he's sure Evelyn will take care of it. Gigi is left in awe, but then the other servant sends her back to work. Prince Noah, who's now 12 years old, is now recognized for fully mastering the magic sword, Leviathan. By the direct imperial order, he's stationed at the Ministry of Military Affairs, which presides over the imperial army, and serving as its minister is his brother, 4th Prince Henry Ararat. Our hero pays a visit to his brother to answer his call. Henry adds that he wanted to know his opinion and tells him that he got an imperial command to send Reese to suppress a rebellion at the southern border. If the barbarians are shown any compassion, they get arrogant, so they're told to dispatch a regular army to show them their superior strength. Reese Kiki, the direct subordinate of the 4th Prince, who aside from his valor, is more than talented enough to lead an army and is the exceptional among the 4th Prince's knights. Our hero turns to him and asks him how many soldiers there truly are, leaving him shocked. Rimrus is left shocked at the question and starts stuttering. Henry realizes something is wrong and asks Rimmers what he's hiding. Rimmers falls to his knees and starts begging for forgiveness. Noah assures his brother that it's no big deal and confirms from him if the Ministry of Military Affairs issues funding for the Imperial forces based on the number of soldiers registered. He further adds that generals commonly register non-soldiers like merchants and collaborators and keep the excess funding for themselves. Rimmers apologizes and the fourth brother gets angry, but Noah stops him and tells Rimmers to stop cowering. The wise prince adds that it's within the general's authority to add new soldiers. Normally, it would be fine to register soldiers in name to serve as a deterrent. Henry agrees that showing an army of 100,000 is better even if it's not true, and praises his brother for understanding these matters. However, this time it's different. The Emperor wants a swift victory, which is why our hero wants to know the limit of their manpower. Reese honestly answers that the number is around 2,000, and Noah tells him to make sure to actually supply that many. He then asks for a pen and paper and writes something with it. Noah hands the letter to Reese and tells him to take it to the Ministry of Military Affairs, and they'll supply him enough to cover 2,000 more under miscellaneous expenses, and he can keep the excess. Reese hesitates, and Noah tells him to take it and assures him that defeat will not be tolerated, leaving his brother impressed. Meanwhile, the fourth prince teases his brother for not having any war experience. Our hero is still at the first level, because it's the rule of the imperial family. Many royal babies die soon after birth. Officially, it's attributed to an epidemic, but most of them are murdered by poison with opposing powers. A prince is a valuable heir, and they aren't permitted to go to battle until adulthood or imperial order. But Henry thinks that it's better for his brother to get some experience before he starts ruling his fief. Noah remains insistent on only going if he has the imperial order, and his brother assures him that he won't have much difficulty with the magic sword. Suddenly, a kid runs into their carriage begging for help. More kids run onto the road from an alley, being chased by some men. They catch the children as they beg for help, and the villagers watch. The children continue crying for help, and Noah finally steps out of his carriage to confront them. The man thinks he's some random brat and tells him to mind his own business. Noah asks him about the registration business and their business name, reminding them that unregistered slave trading is a crime under imperial law. The thugs get offended and pull out their weapons to attack him. Right then, our hero pulls out his magic sword and in an instant defeats the thugs. The villagers are all left in awe of his swordsmanship, and the kids wonder which house he belongs to. Noah checks up on the kids, asking them if the men chasing them were the underground slave traders. The kid bursts into tears, telling him how they told him he'd be worth good money. Right then, an old man interrupts them, greeting the wise prince. He adds that he lives off of kids like these and tries to introduce himself. But then he refuses to reveal his name, saying that he works for the first prince, Gilbert. Noah knows that the old man is threatening him with the first prince's backing. He takes a look around at the villagers, and the old man tells him to turn a blind eye to everything he just saw. Noah asks his brother if he knows the old man, but Henry doesn't recognize him. The wise prince stares into the old man's eyes with a penetrating gaze, and the old man suddenly collapses. Noah then turns to the villagers, addressing them about how the old man falsely claimed to serve the first prince. He adds that the others may be fooled, but he and his brother will not be fooled. The villagers wonder who these two brothers are, and then someone from the crowd announces that he recognizes them. He adds that the little kid is the songstress Alicia, our patron, the wise prince. Noah orders his soldiers to take the thugs away to Gilbert's estate, and explains that they claim to work for him and orders the children to be taken to his mansion so he can hear their stories later. However, Noah couldn't kill the criminals if they actually work for Gilbert. But he couldn't just leave them be because then the people would think he let underground slave trading happen. So it was best for him to call them out to be fakes and let Gilbert handle it himself. Hearing this, Henry is amazed by his brother's wisdom. Later at night while having dinner, Noah receives a message from Gilbert thanking him for catching the thugs. Gilbert had them interrogated and found out they were actually falsely claiming to work for him. He wanted to send them to court, but they committed suicide. Seeing his brother's reaction after hearing about the slave traders' suicide, Noah knows what he's thinking. He thinks that the first prince ordered those men to run the underground slave trade. Henry agrees because Gilbert has started absorbing himself in buying shops and estates and senseless activities. However, Noah doesn't think Gilbert can be blamed. He may be the first prince, but he's a concubine's son, so he can't succeed to the throne. So maybe to vent out his frustration, he's looking for something to do without taking the throne, and the slave trade and estate are just proxies. Henry is even more amazed by his brother's wisdom, but Noah thinks anyone can see that with some thought. Later, Noah addresses the children and tells them that he pulled some strings to free them so they can go anywhere they want. He notices the kids being clueless and asks them if they have anywhere to go. One kid answers that he was sold to buy the year's seed rice, and the other adds that he was sold to pay for his mother's funeral. Another one adds that his father gambles a lot. Noah realizes that these kids have nowhere to go, and with those parents they'll just be sold again. So he tells Dylan that he's going to take them in and asks him to find them jobs and a place to sleep and study, if that's what they wish. The children are left in awe, thinking that he's buying them. He assures them that they're free to leave anytime they want, but he will not tolerate any betrayal. Dylan tells the kids to be grateful to the prince and thank him and takes them with him. Meanwhile, Evelyn stands before the wise prince and tells him that all his presents have been received. However, he tells her she doesn't have to report that and hands her an envelope, telling her that he wants her to be the administrator of a small region within Almaria. An administrator is a key officer, also known as a magistrate, which makes it a huge promotion from being a maid. The fief that Noah received from the emperor is vast, which makes it impossible for him to rule over it himself. So he has assigned administrators to different regions as his proxies. Noah has been watching over Evelyn for years and finds her to be the most clever of his maids. He believes it's a waste of her talents to just take care of guests at the mansion. Evelyn gets emotional and adds that she would rather work for him than be out in the world. But Noah believes that if she works for him as an administrator, he'll be known as an excellent judge of people. So he tells her to leave the mansion and work for him, and Evelyn obeys her prince's command with enthusiasm. Shirley suddenly gets excited, mentioning how he puts people to use better than the first prince. But Noah stops her, reminding her that she can't say something like that out loud, and leaves. Noah kneels before the emperor, who sits impressed with him for how he defended Gilbert. Noah answers that it was just coincidental and he only caught the lawbreakers. He's impressed how his brother reported it himself to keep his hands clean. The emperor asks what kind of crime this underground slave trading is. Noah explains that in cases of unregistered slave trading, the ringleader's dominant arm is to be severed, and any others involved are drafted into military service. The first prime minister confirms his explanation, and the emperor asks our hero if he's okay, because he heard about the criminals attacking him in anger. Noah answers that he could turn the situation around. The emperor agrees that he didn't even have to ask, but if it was him and he was undercover, he would have been defeated while debating if he should reveal his identity. The prime minister adds that it would have been a crime against the imperial family and punishable by death. The whole court bursts into laughter, but our hero refutes the point. Noah adds that under the imperial law, if a criminal doesn't know the emperor's identity and the emperor hasn't named himself, it wouldn't be a crime against the imperial family and would be treated merely as assault. Suddenly the whole court starts sweating, and Noah wonders if he went too far because considering what's rude or not is a delicate matter when it comes to the emperor. He thinks that he shouldn't have pointed out the mistake if he was just being hypothetical. Speaking the truth is good, but not when it comes to the prime minister. He considers apologizing, but then the emperor starts laughing, saying that he wins the bet. Noah is left confused, and the emperor explains that he had a bet with the prime minister to test whether or not the wise prince could describe the law. Noah wonders why there was a need to test him. The emperor adds that he always knew that he was strict and impartial when it came to law and just wanted to test to make sure. He arises from the throne and appoints Noah as the Minister of Justice, leaving everyone in awe and excitedly cheering for him. Later at night, as Noah enjoys the songstress's performance, he thinks about how he was made the Minister of Justice, just saying what he always says. He wonders if he's making too much of it or if there was something else behind that decision. The others fall in awe of the songstress's voice, and our hero admits that it's inelegant to be thinking about politics right now. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister tells the Emperor that the reports turned out to be true. The Emperor leaves it up to him to handle it, realizing that time can no longer wait. At the Ministry of Justice's castle, everybody gives a warm welcome to the wise prince. Vintiossi, Vice Minister of Justice, meets Noah in the office, and he feels greatly honored by the arrival of the prince. Curious, Noah asks Vini about his duties. He wants a rough outline. The Vice Minister explains that Noah has two primary duties. First is the coordination of all courthouses across the empire. Their ministry also tries many cases that occur in the capital, and as with the rebellion 6 years ago, it is customary for the ministry or the emperor himself to judge those who commit serious crimes such as insurrection. In other words, the ministry also functions as a common courthouse. After understanding this, Noah demands to know if they try cases as well. This question makes the vice minister a little nervous, though he admits that it depends on the cases. That being said, the wise prince inquires about the amount they take in bribes. Vinny clarifies that he does no such things. Conversely, Noah doesn't want to accuse someone but just wants to know the real story. He promises to forget it as soon as he leaves this room. Not having much of a choice, Vin reveals he personally doesn't accept many bribes, a few hundred rien annually. He claims to have his rules. Those beneath him accept at least 10 times that much. Vinner himself doesn't accept bribes in cases of murder, as it is too easily exposed. If the accuser bears a grudge, Vinner could become a target for revenge, leading to irreparable damage. He accepts bribes only in cases that could easily go in either direction. Upon hearing it, Noah hands Vinny a scroll, announcing to give him 5,000 reams a year. assuming he takes 500 in general, though he has a condition that the vice minister won't accept bribes while Noah is here. The wise prince wants to live up to the emperor's expectations, so he will do whatever it takes. Seeing Noah's honesty and enthusiasm, Vinny assures Noah that he doesn't need extra money and he will stop accepting bribes. Noah should be suspicious of any ulterior motives. However, he decides to let it go and hopes that Vinny will work for him with pure honesty. Later on, Oscar arranged a grand celebration for Noah. While the 8th prince is happy, since after Henry, Noah is the 2nd minister prince in all of the emperor's 50-year region. When Oscar notices that his little brother looks uneasy, he asks the reason. Noah clarifies that it isn't that, and he is just thinking about why the emperor appointed them as a minister. Oscar believes that this happened because Noah is very dear to the king. Noah can't completely rule that out. In Henry's case, he had the legitimate reason of suppressing the rebellion. Noah doesn't have that kind of record, thus maybe it is natural to conclude that the king is showing him favoritism. In that instant, Noah turns to Oscar, wanting to know if he has any idea that the empire nearly collapsed at one point. He elaborates that it happened because of the empire's system of choosing a crown prince to rule, because the emperor's successor is determined at birth. The princes who were not the crown prince idled their lives away, and domestic stability was drastically shaken. Following introspection, the empire now grants every prince his own fief and ensures they get a proper education. Oscar is confused. What does that have to do with this? Immediately, Noah asks whether Oscar doesn't think appointing him as a minister goes far beyond mere education. It dawns on Oscar, and he abruptly stands up. It is pretty evident that the king wants to make Noah the crown prince. Just then, Oscar's man comes with some information. He has received a report from a eunuch he has bought off. The emperor intends to name Oscar Minister Prince of Finance at tomorrow's morning assembly. On the other hand, an army of soldiers arrested 167 people, including Keats. They intended to pressure the king into abdicating and once he was deposed as emperor, have the crown prince assume the throne. They confessed to the very plot the king's intel indicated, and now everything is being reported to the king. The king assumes that the crown prince is involved in this matter, believing that he can no longer wait, as he has been a crown prince for 30 years of the emperor's 50-year reign. Noise Hill reminds him that there is no evidence of Albert's involvement. Thus the king assures him that he won't do anything to the crown prince, though this Keats man will be executed, and that will be the end of it. With that, he demands to know from Noise Hill about the update of Oscar's incident. Noise Hill explains that he sent out a eunuch who is friends with the 8th prince. It would seem Oscar was aware of the situation. He adds that Noah was with him as well. The king believes that it must have been Noah who caught on to his intentions. According to the report, the king is very puzzled. Which of his sons is worthy of succeeding him? Whatever the case is, he will figure this out if any of them overcome his trial. A new day begins. Noah gets to know from Viney about the people in the attempted insurrection. All these people are close to the crown prince. At this point, anyone would conclude that this was a revolt led by the crown prince's faction. Under imperial law, if one of the imperial family commits a crime, there are provisions that ensure their penalty is light. But there is one exception: insurrection. If any imperial member commits such a crime, they will be cut in half at the waist, be they leader or accomplice. It is like a mystery, considering that so many of Albert's people were involved. How was he not aware of this? Although the crown prince's insurrection and execution would be a massive scandal that shakes the very foundation of the empire. Curious, Noah asks Viney about the king's remarks on this. The vice minister explains that the king suggested focusing on the relevant law and punishing those involved accordingly. That being said, Noah understands the king's intention and decides to pass his judgment. Later on, Noah meets his father, explaining that he has decided how to sentence the insurgents. From among those who were arrested, the leader will be cut in half at the waist, and the accomplices will be executed. The fact that the king limited it only to those arrested must mean that he currently has no intention of bringing Albert into this. Upon hearing it, the king is impressed by his job and asks Cruz to add 1,000 reynum to his annual salary. Noah knows this is not a feat worthy of a reward, and the king really didn't want to get Albert involved in this. Moments later, Noah arrives at the Ministry of Justice castle. However, something brutal has happened there. The guards have been attacked, and the intruders are still inside the castle. Instantly, Noah orders Shirley for reinforcement. He was about to tell her to ask his brother at the Ministry of Military Affairs to be here. Yet the timing is pretty suspicious, hence he instructs her to gather their allies only. He clarifies not to let anyone inside or outside the mansion other than him, not even the other princes. With his weapon, Noah enters the mansion, instructing all the officials to stand down. At the office, Noah runs into a cloaked man who is killing one of the prince's guards. The man immediately commits to avoid the interrogation. Instantly, a bunch of more cloaked men enter the room. Without missing any beat, Noah knocks them all. Vinny is shocked to witness this. However, he lets Noah know that all the insurgents were killed, which is kind of shocking. These men were silenced. In other words, there are Albert's, the Crown Prince's men. Realizing this, Noah stabs himself with his weapon, desperately asking Vinny what the heaviest punishment is for severely wounding a prince. He wants to make it look like these men did this to him. Upset and confused, the vice minister announces that execution is the punishment in all cases, and by summary judgment, whimpering in pain, Noah orders him to do that quickly. Afterwards, while Noah is being treated by the doctors, Vinny informs him that the execution has been carried out. The wise prince takes a sigh of relief now that this whole matter is over. This was a risky situation. One misstep would have destroyed the whole empire. The next morning, the king summoned Noah to meet him. Noah is pretty ashamed at his failure. However, King believes that he is not the only one who should be blamed. Still, to think that they wounded a man of Noah's caliber makes the emperor a little shocked and disappointed. He is shocked that those men were so capable. Noah is aware that the king is doubtful, and he is suspicious that his son gave himself that wound. Thus, Noah clarifies that strength isn't solely dependent on one's skill with the sword. No matter how talented one is, he can falter if his mental fragility is taken advantage of. That being said, the king expresses how proud he is to have a son he can present to all. It appears he understands the amount of thought Noah put into handling that. The king wishes all his sons were like Noah. While walking with the wise prince, the king gives Noah the hint that he doesn't trust the crown prince anymore. It was understandable that the poor old man couldn't do anything about it, because the very act of forsaking the crown prince would tarnish his own reputation in his later years. Just then, Noah asks a favor from the king. He acknowledges that his father appointed him, Oscar, and Henry as minister princes, but this is their first time, so he fears some aspects of it will be handled poorly somewhere down the line. Therefore, he wants the king to appoint someone to coordinate all of them. Noah is proposing the establishment of a new role known as the Prime Minister Prince, and he would like Albert to fill that role. King refuses this idea and orders Noah to leave. The moment the king begins to walk away, Noah admits that he can understand why his brother feels impatient, as he has been the crown prince for 30 years. The king can't take that risk as he is scared that the prime minister might dismiss an important matter, and it never reaches the king at all since that position is still above the rank of the other ministers. To prevent that, Noah suggests that each minister prince will have the right to file a direct appeal. This will stop the crown prince from holding any actual power. It doesn't matter if the prime minister prince's role has any substance due to the fact that it will be no more than a title. The king loves the idea and thanks Noah for the counseling. He feels that it is truly a shame that the wise prince wasn't born earlier. In order to reward Noah, the king decides to go to the vault. Upon arriving at the location, the king asks Noah to choose any item he likes. With the help of the Leviathan, Noah chooses the same box his father decided to give him earlier. The moment the box opens, strong fiery energy envelops Noah.